In terms of his release, they said Combs would submit to drug testing. Prosecutors argued strongly against Combs' release. Prosecutors pointed to testimony from the trial in arguing why Combs should remain in custody. They said that his team did not contest that he was physically violent and a rampant drug user. In a letter submitted to the judge, the government said, quote, "A detention is mandatory following a conviction of this offense. The government has been unable to locate a case in which a defendant was released from custody following such a conviction."
Yo, things are getting really strange behind those prison walls, and the talk coming out is nothing short of shocking. A nurse who's been treating Diddy inside the facility reportedly saw his medical records and couldn't stay silent. What she claims to have found inside that file is way more than just routine doctor visits. According to what's being whispered, those pages are packed with health information Diddy never wanted anyone to know specifically, records showing multiple long-term infections. That alone has caused concern among inmates and prison staff alike.
You know, the next thing is, man, Craig Mack was the one that jumped Bad Boy off. And and it got so bad that Craig Mack, who died from AIDS, that man, he got brainwashed so bad from Diddy and got done so wrong. The man went to South Carolina and joined a cult with his family until he died of AIDS a few years ago.
It turns out Diddy hasn't been laying low in jail like some might expected. People say he still walks around with the same bold energy he always had on the outside. And when the rumors about those medical files started spreading, the vibe in that prison reportedly shifted. Everyone started looking at him differently. People are worried that whatever health problems he's dealing with might affect others too, especially since privacy and safety aren't really guaranteed inside those walls. Let's not pretend all this came out of nowhere. There had already been speculation for a while. Folks started raising eyebrows the moment Diddy appeared in court, looking thinner and weaker than usual. Some people said it looked like he had lost a lot of weight, not from stress or a bad diet, but from something more serious, something medical.
Telling me I'm HIV negative.
Absolutely HIV negative.
But doctors warn his body is hanging by a thread.
You're in danger.
His body looked like it had been going through something that doesn't just happen overnight. Now, when you think about Diddy's past, especially his wild party lifestyle, it starts to make more sense why people are worried. Diddy was known for throwing over the top gatherings where there were no rules. These parties weren't just fun events. They were legendary for being wild, filled with people from all over, and there weren't many limits, especially when it came to safety. No protection, no boundaries, just chaos behind closed doors. Let's rewind even further. This whole situation didn't begin in prison. Some folks believe the earliest warning sign was all the way back with Craig Mack.
Real black neighborhoods, so real black families could have that opportunity just like everybody else.
I mean, he actually caught HIV, having a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You wanna know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did do that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G?
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names.
If you remember, Craig Mack was one of the first artists signed to Bad Boy Records. He had the talent, the hits, and a strong start. But suddenly, he vanished. People didn't see or hear from him for years. Later, it was revealed that Craig had moved to South Carolina, joined a religious group many considered a cult, and completely cut ties with the music industry. Then came the real shocker: Craig passed away in 2018 due to AIDS-related complications. That alone made people stop and wonder. People close to Craig said he went through serious emotional pain before walking away from the spotlight. Some even believe Craig left not because of business issues, but because he witnessed something too disturbing to live with. He went from fame and music to isolation and prayer.
From pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attacks and pneumonia-like symptoms.
And when he died from a disease like that, The silence around his past started speaking volumes. Now, fast forward to the present. That same concern is coming up again with Diddy. The nurse, who allegedly saw his medical report, says there's more in there than most would believe. According to her, the file mentions several sexually transmitted infections, including herpes and maybe even HIV. Once that kind of information started floating around the prison, the tension reportedly skyrocketed. Inmates began spreading the word, and now many of them are scared. Why? Because it turns out Diddy isn't keeping to himself. He reportedly has people, yes, even in prison, trying to get close to him. There are inmates who apparently fight over doing favors for him, from cleaning his cell to bringing his meals. But there's a darker side to all this. Some insiders claim Diddy might be getting involved with people behind bars, and in a place where protection is rare, the risk of spreading something serious is very real. That has both the guards and prisoners on edge. And remember, this didn't start in jail. The signs were there long before he got locked up. His wild private parties were more than just Hollywood fun. These were massive events with both women and men, where anything could happen, and often did. When law enforcement raided Diddy's homes, they found thousands of bottles of baby oil, but no medical protection or safety products. That raised serious concerns. People are now looking at those parties as dangerous environments where health wasn't even a second thought. Since all this has come out, some women have stepped forward, claiming they now live with herpes. They're not always saying Diddy's name directly, but they're linking their infections to people who are close to him. When you look at the pattern, same events, same people, similar timing, it starts to feel like something more than coincidence. One woman speaking out is one thing, but when multiple people come forward with similar stories, it begins to look like a hidden health crisis. Then came Jaguar Wright. If you thought the nurse's story was shocking, Jaguar took it even further. In one of her raw interviews with Real Life Productions, she flat out said Diddy has been living with HIV for a while, and she claimed he's not the only one. According to her, there are at least 20 men in the music industry also carrying the virus. She hasn't released that list yet, saving it for her own project, but that tease alone set off a wave of speculation. One name that keeps popping up is Usher. When he was just 13, he moved into Diddy's place in New York to work on his music. He talked about it once on The Howard Stern Show. At first, Usher made it sound innocent, like a mentor situation. But as Howard asked more questions, Usher's tone changed. He admitted it was a strange environment, and even said he wouldn't let his own kids stay in that kind of situation. That raised red flags for a lot of people. Years later, Usher faced lawsuits from multiple people, men and women, who claimed he gave them herpes. While he settled some of those cases, the timing of everything made people look back and wonder what really happened during his early years with Diddy. Was there something dark that started him down that road? Then there's Jonathan Auty. He's not a big name, but his story is wild. Auty was a former adult actor who made headlines in 2018 after a breakdown where he fired shots at Trump's Puerto Rico resort. People thought he had lost it until he started naming names. He claimed he had been forced into encounters with both Diddy and Cassie. At the time, his story was dismissed. But now, in federal documents tied to Diddy's investigation, Auty's name and photo reportedly show up again as one of the people Diddy hired. Suddenly, Auty's past isn't so easy to ignore. And then there's Kim Porter, someone Diddy claimed to love deeply. She was the mother of his children and had stood by him through years of chaos. When she suddenly died in 2018, it felt unexpected. But recently, a few insiders claimed they saw part of her autopsy, and it listed HIV positive. That hit people hard. If it's true, it suggests Kim might have known everything possibly too much. And just like that, she was gone. Another silence added to the growing list. At this point, it's hard not to see a pattern. Diddy seems to be connected to too many stories that end in heartbreak, silence, or scandal. And now people are asking, how many of these people were paid to keep quiet? How many signed legal documents or took money to disappear? Because it's not just about the parties or the rumors anymore. It's about how many people were possibly exposed to something serious and then told to say nothing. The money trail leads to familiar names Let's talk about Meek Mill for a second. When Lil Rod exposed parts of Diddy's alleged secret life, he mentioned a rapper from Philly who used to date Nicki Minaj. While he didn't say a name, fans immediately guessed it was Meek. Then, Meek randomly went on Twitter, posting a bunch of confusing messages about people trying to destroy his brand. He even offered a reward for the truth. But to a lot of people, it seemed like he was trying to get ahead of a scandal. Shortly after, a video surfaced where Diddy is seen hugging Meek and calling him daddy. Then, an old audio clip re-emerged where one of Diddy's former bodyguards hinted at something private going on between them. Again, nothing directly proven, but that same pattern is there. Meek isn't the only one being whispered about either. Names like French Montana, Yo Gotti, and even more come up, people rumored to have accepted hush money or warnings to stay quiet. Even now, inside prison, things haven't calmed down. Sources say Diddy still acts like a celebrity. He has a small group of followers who do things for him, from cleaning up to bringing him food. But others say he's also getting physically involved with people inside, and with the medical rumors still swirling. That's what has people scared. If the reports are true, then the prison could be dealing with a real health threat, not just celebrity drama. The energy around Diddy has completely shifted. It's no longer just about fame or money. It's about what's being hidden and how deep those secrets really go. So now we ask, what do y'all think about this whole situation? Is it just wild gossip, or is this something far more serious? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story blew your mind, click the next video because this rabbit hole goes even deeper.